Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to episode 102 of the Prosperous Yogini podcast, season 1. If you have listened a few episodes back, you will know I have decided at the 2-year anniversary, so what would be episode 105, to move into season 2 of the Prosperous Yogini podcast. And this is fitting like perfectly with my business and where I am at right now. I feel like I am moving into a new season in my business. All the wonderful yoga teacher training courses, business mentoring that I offer yoga teachers, that is going nowhere, that still exists, that's still happening. But for such a long time now, I've had this deep calling to help female entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, women in business, particularly service-based entrepreneurs, do what lights them up and make money. And it's been such a strong calling for me. And if I'm really honest, to start with, I was like trying to ignore this. I was like, no, I am Amy Yoga. I'm a yoga teacher. I do yoga teacher training. I help yoga teachers create profitable, sustainable, impactful yoga businesses. That is what I do. That is what I do. And I kind of ignored it. And then it got to a point where it was almost like it was painful. I was like, I can't ignore this anymore. But I don't know what to do about it. And truth be told, I signed up to Lucy Sheridan's New Era Mastermind, very unplanned, in the middle of December. And yeah, Lucy is just basically helping me come out of my shell. I think I'm like, but I want to say, like, I'm coming out. That is what it feels like right now. It feels like I'm coming out to say, right now, at this stage in my life, at this stage in my business, this is what I'm stepping into. And it is stepping into a role of helping women do what lights them up, get in energetic alignment, using all those skills and techniques that I know as a yoga practitioner, yoga teacher, to make money, to break free of all the beliefs and programming. And this is what today's podcast is going to draw upon. That is keeping us small. That is stopping us. The female energy that is so needed in the world right now. And it's not a gender even, it's an energy, this feminine female energy that is so needed in the world right now, just to start shining out, just to think, excuse my language, I'm going to swear if you're not used to it, fuck it, I cannot carry on like this anymore. That's where I've been. And I just know so many women in business are like that. Like, I can't undercharge anymore. I can't keep myself small anymore. I can't keep telling myself I'm not ready. I can't keep waiting. I've had a really wonderful week, which has inspired today's podcast. So the question is, like, today's title is really a question: is scarcity mindset keeping us small? So I'll give you a little like synopsis of my week. On Monday, I had the absolute honor to be invited to Cornish Kelpie, who is Sarah Walsh, dear friend of mine, and Atlantic Blankets, which is a beautiful product-based blanket business owned by another dear friend of mine, Gemma Teague. I was invited to so Gemma was like hosting Sarah on her swimming, her cold water swimming. It was like it was a photo shoot, it was a collective promotion event. It was also a way of celebrating womanhood, celebrating businesses, bringing individuals that perhaps wouldn't normally come together. And that's what Sarah has been wonderful at doing, of creating communities, creating friendships, creating connections of women through both her role within the Blue Tits. And if you're like, you don't know what the Blue Tits are, they are a national charity that encourage women to dip in cold water and come together, and it's a wonderful community. Do go and check them out. Sarah is a cold water swimming coach, so in her role as Cornish Kelpie, and she leads women into the water, and generally not in neoprene. I prefer to be in neoprene, generally not in neoprene, and teaches them water safety, water confidence, how to dip safely. But it's more than dipping. Actually, she covers swim techniques, swimming, how to keep yourself safe. It is wonderful. And on Monday, women had been nominated from the Blue Tits for this free session with Sarah, all organised by Gemma Atlantic Blankets. Gemma had also arranged some cakes that had been made by a local female entrepreneur, and didn't end there. There's this beautiful lady called Megan Hemsworth, who is a photographer. She works for Atlantic Blankets, and she was there taking pictures of us all. So I'm there. I've been invited. I'm just going along for the ride. No, I think Sarah knows I don't like dipping. I prefer to be surfing in neoprene. So I think Sarah just invited me so she could watch me go in the water with my swimsuit. I did it. I will say I had a weird reaction in that I was on my tippy toes, and I was like, I know I'm on my tippy toes, and this is now like I'm shoulder deep now in the water, so virtually we're covered, but I'm still standing on my tippy toes. I'm like, why am I standing on my tippy toes? But I actually managed half an hour in the water in my swimming costume at Porth Beach. It was a stunning day, stunning location, and I got to see 3 good friends in action in their business. So I saw Sarah leading the swimming. She was amazing. She was incredible. I saw Megan taking photos, encouraging, I'm in my swimming costume. All of those insecurities that we all have are coming out, and Megan was able to relax us all, take wonderful fun shots. You forgot Megan was there taking pictures. And then there's my dear friend Gemma, who is, if you know anything about human design, she is a wonderful projector. She's there. She's the coordinator of all of this. She has arranged all of this, just, sat back in the background. You wouldn't, if you walked past, you wouldn't have known that it would have potentially been Gemma that had coordinated, created, and organized all of this. But there she was, like, it quietly in the hub of this event with her beautiful products, impacting the women that had attended. And not just that, the Megan, who's an employee of Atlantic Blankets, there was another lady, Alison, who's an employee of Atlantic Blankets. Gemma has created income, employment in our local area. Like, I came away proud that I'd swam for half an hour in the sea, but I came away more like, I am so proud of my friends. I am so proud of these women. It was an honor to see them in their zone of genius. And I'm going to talk actually next week about zone of genius, but it was just an honor to see them successful in what they were doing what was lighting them up, following that joy, following that passion. And because of that, being successful in their business, being successful in their own way. And it kind of got me thinking, like, do we celebrate this enough? Do we have that reaction? Can I be really happy for these women, even if perhaps I'm not quite there yet? Leading on from that, on Wednesday, last week, I think I've talked about this. I can't remember. I've talked about this in my podcast or my Substack. It might be Substack. Okay. If I haven't talked about it, I better tell you. Confession here. No, nothing major. I hosted my first in-person coaching workshop for female service-based entrepreneurs. I hosted my first official non-yoga teacher event called Ideas to Action. And I might run it online, but I have a couple of ideas. Elsa Priest generated me to run some like 3-hour in-person coaching workshops, and they go along the lines of, like, I'll run a session for about an hour, we have a little break, a bit of snack, and then, like, the hot seat coaching that I've been doing online for the last couple of years, I actually do in person. And it was just incredible. I had very fortunate that 9 female entrepreneurs in Cornwall said yes to this event. And one thing that really came up, actually not from them, but from their stories of where they'd had interactions with other women in business, other, groups where they'd come together into like a networking event, for example, where the response hadn't necessarily always been positive. Like, oh, you're too expensive, you're elite, no one's going to pay pay for that. Oh, isn't there someone already doing that? And hang on a minute, you're on my patch. And I've encountered this 100%. I know there's a podcast episode called Scarcity versus Abundance. And if you enjoyed today's episode and you haven't heard that, I have no idea what number it is, but go back and find it. I've had it where when I first started doing yoga teacher training courses, like I had 2 yoga teachers approach me saying, I can't believe you're running yoga teacher training in Cornwall. There are too many yoga teachers in Cornwall. And it comes up sometimes in the mentorship program where, particularly if someone's like newly qualified and they then start to approach studios or approach other teachers to work collaboratively or to support each other, like sometimes they get like a wonderful response of like, yeah, come in, let's meet, let's see how we can support each other. Because I've always talked about reciprocal relationships being, what can we both bring to the party? What works for you? What works for me? How does our collaboration, I need to do a podcast episode on this, how does our collaboration mutually, support each other? What's the energy, even energy exchange here? But sometimes they often get like, oh, saturated area, I'm not interested in like, working with any other teachers, your competition. And it led me to think, and I've been mulling over, and this is the real inspiration for today's podcast, is this scarcity mindset where we are, and you see it in other areas of life, and I'm not going to get political today, but where we are taught that there's not enough, that there's not room for us all, that if we see someone doing something and being successful, perhaps in an area that we want to do as well, that we think, well, that's it, there's not room for us all. I've missed the boat. So for example, I've got a lovely friend who has created, who's a pelvic floor health physio, really experienced. And she works currently in the NHS one-to-one with women, but she's absolutely right that her knowledge needs to be spread globally around the world. But of course, when we go and Google pelvic floor online courses, you can find a lot. You can find a lot of examples. You can go on Instagram and you can find a couple of women with 100k plus followers, right? And it can be easy in that moment to go, I've missed the boat. They're doing it already. They're doing what I want to do already. There's not room for me. Or when we see female, women out there absolutely smashing it, making perhaps large sums of money, but not even that, it's not even a money thing, being really successful in their business. And we have a response of, well, it's all right for them. They're lucky. Well, I can't do what they do, and they've all making assumptions that, they've been lucky, or, they've compromised. Like, let's say we see a yoga teacher smashing it and making lots of money, and we think, well, they've sold their soul. They're not authentic. These are all stories that come from a place of fear, that come from a place of lack, that come from a place of scarcity, right? First of all, it's not an overly positive vibration. So I'm like, what we put out into the world, we receive back. And this isn't easy to hear, guys, because I'm human like you. And I have those reactions. And there's a couple of people that I have followed on Instagram and had those moments of like, God, they're really smashing it. They're doing what I'm doing it. Oh, I saw like there's another yoga teacher coach who's positioned herself more into the well-being space. And I was like, oh, she's managed to do it. Like, God, well, I can't do it. Like she's done it. I have that reaction. And I've trained myself when I have that reaction to question it. Like, it's not them, it is me, it's my response. Okay. If I'm having that jealous reaction, if I'm having that moment of contrast, it's a really good sign that I need to listen to that. If I'm thinking they're doing what I want to do, but then I'm telling myself I can't do it. And worse still, as making huge assumptions about that person. Well, it's all right for them, they don't have children. It's all right for them. They're slimmer than me. It's all right for them. They're younger than me, right? These are the things that I will say, right? And I have learned to check myself. I have learned to say, to reframe it, to say, they're just proving it's possible. They're leading the way. I remind myself that the more women we see out into the world smashing it, like leading the way, saying this is what I love to do and this is what I'm going to do and this is the way I'm going to work, and it's perhaps not conventional, perhaps it's not conventional wisdom, perhaps it's not the way we have been doing it up until now, women, but this is the way that works for me. Can we celebrate this? And I'm telling you now, this is like Patanjali, if you've read the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, this is all in here, right? The yogis amongst you, the philosophical texts, the ancient philosophical texts within the yoga tradition were teaching us this. Can we direct our thoughts into more positive thoughts? Can we pay attention to our thoughts? Can we be non-attached? So if I'm non-attached to, you know, other people's success being a reflection on my success, then I am able to look out into the world and see other business owners, other women, other female entrepreneurs smashing it and thinking, they're leading the way for me. This is a good sign. If they can do it, I can do it too. They are proving it is possible. But scarcity mindset is one of the programs or programming or layers of crap, layers of shit that are layered onto us as women. Let's just focus as women, to keep us small. I really, really do believe this. And it can be an element of the female entrepreneurship that has a real, sometimes nasty, ugly undertone. Like, catch yourself. Like, you're entitled to your opinions. You're entitled to actually think, I'm not sure about that person. I'm their way they're running their business does not align with me. Energetically, there's a mismatch there. That's fine. But you don't need to talk about that. We don't need to gossip about that. We don't need to make assumptions or speak even bad of that person. I just think, like, we have no idea, right, what is going on in other people's lives. Like, and the friends that are in business and smashing it, I also know things about their personal life, right? And it reminds me so strongly of, when we see the social, you know, outward picture, we have no idea what people is going on in personal lives. We must make no assumptions of people. It's never a case that it's all right for them and you've got to suffer, you've got to work hard. It's always you that never makes it. This is not them. This is so hard, darlings. This is you. This is what you have been conditioned to believe. This is what you have been programmed to believe. Scarcity mindset is stopping you from taking action. Scarcity mindset is stopping you from stepping into your power. Scarcity mindset is stopping you from doing what you came here to do. Scarcity mindset is keeping you small. It's causing you to suffer. If we can practice, and it's a practice, can we practice celebrating our wins, celebrating the wins of the others, being happy for people who may be where we are heading, where we would like to go. And if I can't be happy for them, unfollow them on social media. Your social media Instagram feed is crafted by you. You have chosen to follow these people. So if you're at a place where there's certain people that you're following and every time you look at them you get annoyed, like, either practice being positive, celebrating that person's successes, thanking them for leading the way, thanking them for inspiring you, practice non-attachment. And if you can't, unfollow them. Like, allow yourself to be human as well, right? But I would love us all to step into a vibration of there is room for us all. The world is a big place. Like, even if you have a local business, like, and I live in Cornwall is a big place, and none of us need large numbers of people to have a successful business. So I've written down here, what if we shifted our vibration? What if we shifted from that fear, lack, resentment, assumption, and sometimes it's not even that, it's like, I can't do that because they're doing it already. Yeah. And like, none of you go, right, I'm gonna copy that woman, I'm gonna go after all of her customers. That's not what we're doing. We're like, but this is what I'm being called to do, or I don't want to do that because I don't want to offend someone, I don't want to step on that person's toes. Like, I'm like, they probably don't even care, right? And if they do, that's their problem, right? What if I shifted my dominant vibration, because we've got to allow the odd moment to be human, all right? Shifted my dominant vibration from scarcity, not enoughness, I've missed the boat, oh well, never mind, to there is room for us all. And if you need more evidence of that, look to nature. Like, we are all nature. And nature doesn't go at springtime, okay, that's enough flowers now. You have had your quota. No, and nature keeps growing in abundance. And those times of year, that abundance is possible. And then nature knows that we need to retreat and rest and regroup, and then we grow in abundance again. There is no limit. I spend a lot of time, as you know, surfing. I spend a lot of time looking out to the sea, and one of my favorite things to do is to look out to the horizon and just focus on how big it is, focus on how expansive it is. And I'm getting goosebumps. So my higher self is like, yeah, say me. And focus on the horizon and how big and how expansive it is. And I think that is me, that is us, that is the possibilities for us as well. It's got, what I do has got nothing to do with other people. I need to be non-attached, celebrate the wins of others, and allow myself to be in my own lane, following my own inner guidance, going in with my own intuition. So listen, I am guilty of the scarcity mindset. I'm guilty of all of those thoughts. I am guilty of having moments of allowing that to make assumptions about other people in business and women in business. But I am definitely so far away from this now that it rarely happens. And Monday, although I had a lovely experience, Monday showed to me how much I had shifted, because I came away from Monday and that experience, and I was like, the best thing about today was seeing my 3 friends in their zone of genius, smashing it, and giving wonderful experiences and wonderful opportunities to those people that had come today. And I couldn't have been any prouder. And there wasn't anything in me that made me think, oh, well, that means I'm crap. That means I can't possibly do that. They're doing better than me. None of that. I was just able to be completely happy for them. So there is room for us all. And yeah, scarcity is something that we are taught to keep us small. So do me a favor, women, no more. Okay, no more. It's time to rise up. We've been lied to, okay, on many things. And it ain't easy working through this stuff. It ain't easy working through stuff that we may be very attached to, very heavily conditioned and programmed into. But practice being in your own lane, turning inwards, standing in your own truth, celebrating, supporting, encouraging all other women around you in your community from a place of love, from a place of like, you know what, we've all got stuff going on, like, but together we can do this. The power of together, the power of collaborative energy. You are almighty, powerful person. Bring that together Okay, and it doesn't even need to be a physical bringing together, just an intention of womanhood, an intention of rising us all up. If one person rises up, we all rise up, right? The power of that is unstoppable. On that note, I will end there. Next week's episode, I will be announcing the details of my podcast party, which will be a live coaching call that you'll be invited to and submit a question. So do keep your eyes open for that. And I will just see you all next week.